Welcome back to the action, and straight in there as 2 times ISA World Parasurfing Champion Ant Smith up and firing, a fantastic photographer from Cape Town and a 2 times US Adaptive Open champion, 2 times South African Adaptive champion, and from 2016 and 2018 he took gold in this category, stand 1 at the ISA World Para Surfing Championship. Big shout out to my good friend Rupert and Emma Wilday there. I just found out that Ant Smith took their wedding photos. A really good friend of mine just messaged me to say, hey, just to let you know that Ant Smith took our wedding photos a number of years ago. So this guy not only excels on a surfboard, he excels behind the lens. Follow him. He's got a fantastic skills as a photographer based out of Cape Town, and he just kicked off with some electric surfing then. Ben, what about this opening ride from Ant Smith?
Yeah, I love this, how he redirects, makes room to get up in that pocket, and then just lays into this.
Of that second score. This is any surfer riding wave in a standing position with an upper limb amputation or congenital or impairment equivalent or short stature, like we see from Roberto Pino. Some surfers may have had arm amputations, paralysis, or double arm amputations, and it's Anthony Smith.
These surfers need to be sitting a little bit farther in than the wave looks, but I'm sure they'll get their hands on a great wave in just a moment. We have 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. That offshore, that receding tide, you have 2 versions of energy.
Raising the bar and making people realize around the world that they can be involved in surfing as well. As we can see, Ant Smith up and riding off the bottom, hooks that turn, power drive, speeding through this body section, and then puts that board on rail with a snap cut back there. Little rebound off the foam. Ant Smith looking good. Is going to add to that 6.0 bet.
Yeah, great, acting fast right there. You can see he almost tried to whip out a maneuver early on that one. He could see that he needed to get around that first section, find some open space for that turn.
Moving onto the inside, just going to get the opportunity to walk back along the sand and then get back close to the pier for that easier paddle. As we can see the South African flag flying high there. Of course, the reigning world champions, having won the Rugby World Cup, beating by 1 point the All Blacks, the Kiwis, the New Zealanders. As we can see that beautiful square tail thruster under his arm there. I mean, tell us about that board. That to me looks like your kind of classic, beautifully built shortboard template.
Yeah, and you can see just a little bit more width in the tail than we'd be used to in a performance board that's made for good waves. That's probably one of his little smaller semi-grovelers that we call it, kind of smaller wave shortboard. When you have that little extra width in the tail in conditions like this, especially with that kind of open face high tide, that's going to help you carry that speed that much farther. And when that tail comes in, it's actually to control the speed and slow the board down. And these conditions, you definitely want to keep that speed.
And you can just see the opportunity there for that easier paddle out by the pier. A lot of free surfers on the north side enjoying these beautiful conditions here. So big thanks to
all of his projection comes from his left hand. They're also having to kind of lean on the board as they paddle to keep the board from turning in one direction as well. So
1-7. So neither of those waves will go into his top 2. So he's in that similar position to Roberto Pino. At the moment, he's going to be the 2nd seed, so he'll be separated in the semi-finals. Roberto will be number 1 seed, and Ant Smith will be number 2 seed. So both of those surfers wouldn't meet in the semi-finals, but of course, if they do progress through the semis, they'll meet in that final. And you get the feeling that these are the 2 guys who are going to be battling it out for gold.
Under nose, a lot more surface up in the front of the board, which in his paddling condition, he will be able to take off faster and easier than some of these other riders that have this narrow pointed nose.
And he drops a 4.23 as we move down into the last seconds there. So Anthony Smith stays out there in the lead, but he doesn't replace his top 2 scores from that opening qualifying round. Congratulations, though, to our surfer from Portugal. Well done, Dave Jeffrey, a fantastic...
Welcome back to Southern California. The Santa Ana winds are blowing. The surf is looking so fun and peaky. There's lefts and rights available for day 4 of competition for this year's ISA World Parasurfing Championships. And it's the first time we're getting to see performances here at the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier from the parasurfing community, and they have been lighting it up. As we see Douglas Hendrikz getting to work on the inside section. He's from South Africa. And in live action, we have McFarlane from France with a good-looking left and connects off the lip to finish off on the inside with one more chance at another turn. And he'll be putting a score on the board to kick off his heat. Chris Overlay for the U.S. in the water in green, as well as Elias Valencia of Chile in the white jersey. And we've got 17 minutes remaining on the clock. Shannon and Mitch to call the action as we see Elias have a quick paddle.
Yeah, and he's one of the few people in this classification that doesn't like to use a paddle. So if you, as you mentioned before, you don't necessarily have to be on a wave ski or use a paddle. As we look at Hendrikz in red, Colin in blue, Overlay in the green, and Valencia, the Chilean, is in the white.
And it's chunky and windy in the afternoons, and to be a picture-perfect day in Surf City with nobody out. If this wasn't a contest, no one would give anybody waves.
Nah, it's pumping, man. It's so good to have the opportunity to surf so good waves on a heat. And it's been pretty good days. Yesterday was pumping too, and the day before there was some waves. But I've been seeing this forecast for a week and seeing that today would be very good. It's a size that fits better here. It's not big and not so small.
And ease all together. But we've really been able to see, those onshore conditions, the big closeouts like yesterday, some more fun days like this. So it's been great to see everyone have to adapt to the varying conditions as we take a look at some replays.
Yeah, the heat recap here. This is the 3, an excellent use of that paddle as well. And this is the one wave that I want to look at, the 4.9 of Hendrikz. Just a couple of smooth carves, but look at how he gets to the lip right there. I mean, he has to fully commit to that one section, and the way he was able to bring his upper body up and use of the paddle down with
to position. It's pushed Douglas Hendrikz of South Africa down into that 3rd place position as Douglas just bites the nose, but he's going to be able to pull it off somehow. That was incredible the way he was able to ride out of that one. Douglas now looking to improve on a 4.9, and those 5-point runs that he had on the boards getting back into that 2nd place standing on the rankings, but he's still in a pretty convincing position to be taking out the top 4.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you get seeded into the final, what color jersey you're wearing. The only thing that matters is getting there. And you were talking about the different faces at Huntington Beach. You got to be prepared for everything. We're talking about a world championship, medals on the line. If you want to be the best in the world, you have to be adaptable to different kinds of waves.
Huntington, a spot that has run hundreds and hundreds of iconic events through the years, is awesome to now see the parasurfing community. Douglas Hendrikz on the final 10 seconds uses his priority on this wave. He's looking to improve on that 4.9. Remember, he'll have to get himself into the 5s in order to be improving on his overall standing.
Parasurfing has the power to bring us together. Together, we push the limits, further the sport, and go for gold. You've crossed countries to get to the World Championships. Let Access Tracks simplify crossing the sand. Access Tracks, the official beach access pathway of the ISA World Parasurfing Championships.
Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California. The surf is still firing. The wind has changed direction, but it's still very contestable. And we're seeing Natasha Sierbert of South Africa on a great looking start. A solid sized right-hander in front of her. She's now angled down, straightening out in the foam, turning back to the right, and looking to get back to the left once again. She'll be heading to the inside where her catcher is located. There will be some volunteers there as well, as we're in our Prone 2 division with full assist, meaning they've got a pusher and a catcher on the inside, and some other volunteers around just to make sure for safety purposes. That was an incredible wave for Natasha to open up her campaign with. You can see her pounding the board there with excitement.
Yeah, it looks very, very happy and a successful ride more than anything, as we are in the last heat of this round, as we were mentioning, women's Prone 2 out there. And this is an important wave for Natasha right now.
Through to the semifinals. We're also in the final heat of the round. Heat number 4 with Tash Davies, Celine Rouillard, Natasha Siebert, and Annie Goldsmith in the water, looking to keep themselves in the top 8 conversation. She'll have some assistance getting to her quickly as we take a look now at Natasha getting the run up the beach, getting a little tangled from the team that's running her there. And she's going to be back and going. Her first score drops through as a 5.5. So Tash Davies just getting slightly better of a score on the opening exchange, a 3.67 for Annie Goldsmith of Australia, and now a 3.1 on the board for Celine.
Yeah, and we see around 5 or 6 of those wheelchairs here on the beach, and they're basically for, well, majority of the time for the people that are about to paddle out. As you can see right here, very important when it comes to doing the runaround again, as Siebert, her assistant, is making it back behind her and gonna push her back out to the lineup. As you mentioned, this classification in specific, full assistance whatsoever, pushing, catching, and also on the beach, obviously getting the runaround as well.
That's right, they've got that.
Did have a couple of rotations and directional changes too, as we do look at Siebert. This comes in as a good wave right now, a 5.5. So for sure, keeper score. You can see right there her pusher had her on a clean wave all the way on the outside. So incredible assistance on that one, just to be able to get her down the line and on some open face.
Yeah, great wave from Natasha out of Winkelsbroot on the south coast of Durban. Has some great waves in that area. The Bluff, commonly, you know, a very well-known wave in the region for pretty heavy barrel. Thanks so much, Beatrice. What a beautiful human to have competing this week, and great to see her. A bit of chaos out in the lineup, but those spaces still seem to be really clean and contestable. As we've got our visually impaired 2 women's division hitting the water for their second round with Aleli. Incredible. I love hearing stories like that, the success that's come before, and also those that are wanting to raise awareness for others, maybe entering into a similar stage of life. Michelle with a really dedicated paddle, keeping that head down and low, nearly gets into it, and she'll have to get back to her teammate now as she sits on that board, swings that nice long board underneath her, back into position. And Lou with a deep takeoff, she'll go down over the falls.
Yeah, and she's
prior to the last 12 months, where she was out there by herself, having to try and figure things out. She said it was often really challenging for her to catch a wave, let alone to know if she had priority or not, whether it was others dropping in on her or her dropping in on them. And so the inclusion of allowing her dad, just in normal events that are outside the parasurfing community, to be in the water with.
Blair has really picked up in the last half an hour or so, and it's only 1 in the afternoon. It's probably going to get even worse after this. As McFarlane up and riding.
That was a huge takeoff, now up to her feet. So late to her feet off the takeoff, but man. Veaudry now up and riding. Quick in and out just to get that score on the board. He's in the water up against Hendrikz of Japan, Sean Rango of Puerto Rico. And
amount of speed was some great work. And then JP Veaudry on the back end, 3.57 for him. So back into the heat too. Needs to get something in the 5s right now if you want.
in position. First priority, we got 7 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. JP chasing down a 5.43. Carves back, pumping really hard to try and find some momentum, but that wave won't stand up.
Been able to fully ride out of it as JP up.
All right, JP now on the inside. Some of these smaller waves have had a slightly better shape to it. This is already giving him a little bit more to work with. A couple snaps on his backhand, looking to just tag that on the sand. And looks like he's starting to feel a bit of momentum.
Well, he worked that wave well, given how small it was. Riding a CI Happy every day with the Spine technology, which is an epoxy with a stringer in it, and the thing works great. It's extremely responsive, a little bit larger than he normally tends to ride, but having that 6.2 and a benefit of getting into the waves a bit easier in terms of accessibility, I actually think that's beneficial to him right now. So looking for the mid-5, surfed it very well. Got to wait to see if he's going to get the score.
High score of the heat.
Third priority in the rotation, and he's really the only surfer closer towards the Pure Bowl right now. As we look at the replay of the 6.5 here, great execution. Was able to find this wave on the inside, moved that board around a few times, but I think it was really just him maintaining himself in the pocket the entire time, right next to the whitewater, and getting something in the good range. Stoked on that one at the end. As JP having a look at this one, seems like an inside runner on the right.
Good looking wave, it's got a bit of size to it. Is he gonna be able to get around the section? And we'll have a score to come through for to replace that 3.57. And on the buzzer, he's been able to jump up into leading position, securing himself a spot in the final once again, and having that opportunity to battle for the gold medal that he lost out on last year.
Yeah, and I mean, he's close now. Showed a lot of resilience in this one, came from behind to take the win. And as you can see right there, Team South Africa very happy with JP's performance, moving into the final once again.
Stoked, and way to just keep cool under pressure. You know, he was searching for scores coming up to that halfway mark of the heat. He was able to get that 6.5 on the board. He then put all that pressure in towards the finish as well to get that last score and end up taking the lead. Kenjiro Ito of Japan will walk through in second. And we have our men's finalists decided for our Stand 2 division. We've got more action to come, so stay tuned as the women's kneel. Second round hits the water right after this.
JP, this has got to feel great. You've booked yourself a spot in the grand final. Last year you got silver. What a fantastically managed semi-final. Tell us how it went. Tell us how you're feeling.
Well, I don't know if you heard the previous interview. I said that I didn't win a single heat. My strategy is a bit different this time. I'm going to win every heat as much as I can. It was so challenging out there. I really didn't think I was on top. I don't know if you saw there was one moment the pelican flew over me. I was panting, trying to get back out, and the pelican just kind of said, calm down. Just spoke to me.
Well, it must be very important for you now to get that opportunity to go for gold after having won silver last year.
That's the goal. I really am getting a bit old for this. But I've got so much support back home, so much support from my sponsors, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
You're looking fantastic, and you've also got a lot of support from your incredible South African team. Let's hear some noise from Team South Africa right here, right now on the glass. Canada, we got Brazil, we got South Africa, we got Chile, we got the mighty multiple world champion going for a 5th world title, Victoria Feige, the 38-year-old styler from Canada. We got Vera Kisama from Brazil, we got Similo, zeotherapist, and an incredible athlete who is a role model for parasurfing. And Victoria must be somebody that you look up to a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It's, you know, there are some kind of pioneer who inspired the other generation is following us, and to have this kind of girl represent performances, training, fighting, it's a great show and a great honor to be with her in the water.
And yeah, of course we have the elite performance, but we also have the fun element. Something you like to do is the headstand. Tell us about this, Ishmael.
It was a kind of signature, you know, during the... It's cool for me to look back on the wave. It was really difficult because there was a backwash, but the headstand, I made it at the first competition, and it was for my friend. I know it don't give points, but it's a funny way to make the show. We are in America, so the show must go on.
And that was more than just a headstand. It was a headstand into the shorebake barrel roll with a clean dismount rollout. In any longboard competition around the world, that would have been a 10-0.
Yeah, for sure. I know the Hawaiian like this kind of style.
And you're based in southwest France, but you're from Norway. Is there an emerging parasurf community in Norway? Are there other in equipment, in technology? And another big pioneer and someone you're probably very friendly with is Pegleg Bennett from Cornwall in the UK. And I know he talks relentlessly about how he's always tweaking his prosthetic, developing it, and making sure he can walk on the cutting edge.
An opportunity to go in my little room and adapt the food, find some new friends, new technology, and this kind of excitation. You have to make something, go and taste it.
It's like Smith is interested in this wave here.
And a paddle for Smith, now up and riding. Again, just caught behind the section. That little bit of wind, like you said, it offers that coping, that little bit of definition to the lip of the wave, but also sometimes forces those waves to getting some of those closeouts. Might be a little more challenging to get into the open face, but it does provide that nice single section if you're able to get that hit right off the bat.
For sure, in parasurfing stand one, any surfer who rides the wave in a standing position with an upper limb amputation or congenital or impairment equivalent, also as short stature. So free and smart for Clarkin to try to split the peak with him here.
And a split peak, both go down, so neither are going to improve their situations. A minute remaining. Shingo has just dropped in a...
With priority and enough time to get that 2.23 that he needs. So at the moment, there's still enough time. It seems like there's a couple of waves approaching, and Smith has just been a victim of bad luck in this one. He was able to move over towards Machado's peak. Nothing really popped up over there. When he moved to middle peak, not much on offer, and then moves back to the pier bowl, and not a single wave really with the potential to better than 1.57. Big upset right now, but you got to give props to the 13-year-old from Anglais. Huge performance, moving into his first final.
Super impressive for the 13-year-old out of France, Maxime, advancing to the finals behind Shingo Kato.
Yeah, big performance.
Pigeon, a former bronze medalist in this category, surfing against Suzanne Edwards, the 2018 bronze medalist from the ISA World Parasurfing Championship in Roan 1, representing England, based in Braunton in North Devon. And also
seen this lower tide kind of activate the sandbar. We've seen a lot bigger sets than we've seen all day long, and even though we thought the swell was disappearing, a lot of that smaller surf and softer surf in the morning was due to all that full high tide. Now we've got it drained out, and these waves are able to pop up.
She is our front runner for booking a spot in the final. Currently sitting in third position is Catherine Beatty with an 8.13, because already sitting in second is our Spanish surfer who's waiting to catch a wave, because she's got a 5 and a 4.17, making a combination of 9.17 from her opening heat. So that surfer is in the red vest. That's Paloma Onyate, the 33-year-old, in a 4.17, waiting for that first score to drop. But what about this from Tracy McKay, Ben?
Really nice drop there. And yeah, that could have been trouble section, but she was able to manage a lot of control. Good speed here, big change of direction as she gets to this inside reading the wave and finding that transition. And that's a nice ride.
Love to hear from Emma Dieters there from Mona Vale that on the Northern Beaches they're launching a Parasurf club. So follow at M_Dieters, Emma Dieters on Instagram to find links to the Northern Beaches Parasurf club that they founded. She was gold medalist in Prone 2 last year in Pismo at the 2022 ISA World Parasurfing Championship, but she's now shifted into Prone 1. So the difference between Prone 2 is the surfers require assistance with their pusher and catcher. Prone 1, they're all alone, and out there in the lead, it's Kayla Waputz, the 39-year-old representing Hawaii from Bend, Oregon, riding your board, Ben. So you've got some stakes here. You're really proud to see her flying the flag for your shaping. Suzanne Edwards representing North Devon from Braunton, the team captain of Team England. She's now in second position with a 3.53 and a 3.5. Tracy McKay is in third with a 5.67 for that drop alone. So that's a really big score for Tracy, backed up by a 0.67. And then Paloma Oñate from Spain, she's got a 5, which would go into her
environment after that wave of green, but what a great ride. She was able to pop up on top position.
Tracy McKay gonna get another score through on the inside. It won't go into her top 2. We're down into the last minutes. Suzanne Edwards is out back. She needs to get a big score to book herself a spot in the grand final. As it stands right now, she's got a heat comment. I can see that there's no number left to Suzanne's name, so it might well be that she has scored a wave.
Okay, so yeah, we have the time dying out here, but great rides for all of our competitors.
It comes in at a 0.5. It's not going to be enough, so we'll wait for this to be official, but by my calculations, it's certainly going to be Emma Dieters and Paloma Oñate in the final. And at the moment, I believe it's going to be Catherine Beattie and Kayla Waputz in the final. Stay tuned, surf fans, because we'll confirm that after the break. And coming up next, we've got an absolute smoker because we move on to the knockout semi-finals of Men Pro 1. Live as we continue day 5 here at the ISA World Parasurfing Championship from Huntington Beach.
Guillaume Collin from France in the water, and Douglas Hendrikz from South Africa now getting an opportunity for his first wave. He'll go down. That's not going to be a significant score in the score line, and he'll reset. All 3 of them up against the 5-time gold medalist in Felipe Kizu Lima from Brazil, going for a 6th gold medal, which if he gets, he'll tie Bruno Hansen for overall.
And I think the wild card in this one is Colin from France. Has had some good heats, but never really been the standout when it comes to Kizu Lima, who's been the dominant surfer in the opening rounds. Parasurfing sit, any surfer who rides a wave in a sitting position that does not require assistance, paddling into a wave and getting...
That's been the standout with his high scores and consistent performances. Douglas had a look at this one to get things going.
Yeah, just a 1.77 for Hendrikz, trying to get things going with terms of the consistency out there. It's really fun, Shannon. I mean, the waves are truly spectacular when it comes to the size that we see out there at Southside HB. For the most part at this size, especially with the low tide, usually not a lot of push. Today with the sandbars how they are with the western swells, really fun. As we saw the 5.33 of Carrier, it's the best score of the final so far.
And it's a really solid way to get things going, especially with 25 minutes on the clock. They've been allotted an extra 5 minutes for the finals. It'll be the same through tomorrow as well. As we take a look now at Hendrikz on his right-hander, getting a few great turns connected together, so a smaller size wave out in the ocean to be riding waves with. And it's been awesome to be able to see that influence from someone like Kizu on now a silver medalist. As we take a look at Douglas Hendrikz, great 2-turn combination, but the nose bites in and he'll go down. So just that one first turn to be complete. But now Lima with a paddle, the Brazilian. This is an important moment for him, a quick in and out as well. You can see, and he'll set himself up. Douglas on a great looking snap, and he goes down, unfortunately.
Yeah, an unforced error right there for Hendrikz. Had an opportunity to come out of that cleanly. It seemed like he caught a bit of an edge. And right here in the final, can't really afford to do that, but I like the intensity.
0 for Kizu Lima sets him up with a 16.33 heat total, which is enough to put the entire field in a combination situation.
Yeah, unfortunately for both Carrier and Hendrikz, they were in a good spot to take the lead at any point of the heat, but now they're needing 2 weights to move up into first.
Hendrikz with an opportunity to chip away at that requirement. He's needing to replace both of his scores. It was a great looking outside section. He's got a lot of control to finish here. Now he's
final 2. He wasn't in the top 2 spots for the majority of the heat. Once he got up into second, needed a small score to take the lead. And since then, he's been incredible as we look at Colin now.
Now with the paddle, looking to get himself out of that copper medal position. It'll be challenging to get him into that gold. As we see, he found that 4. He then improved to a 9-point ride and stitched things up with a 16.33 heat total for the final.
Yeah, and you can see right there, complete in total domination. An excellent heat total to do that in the final. Takes a lot of guts and takes a lot of dedication too. So once again, huge congratulations to Felipe. Well deserved. No doubt the most consistent surfer in this classification throughout the entirety of the event.
And it's not every day that you see the chair up the beach, including the equipment that the surfer competed on the wave ski, on his throne, Felipe Kizu Lima.
Congratulations, Charlotte Banfield. I mean, Ben, I have to admit, we were both welling up then. That was emotional to see.
We still are, but oh crikey, there we have a gold medalist for England. I love the oh crikey.
Well, what an incredible day it's been. Thanks so much for tuning in. We've just seen Charlotte Banfield take gold. We saw Kizu get his 6th gold. We saw the Jackson Santos for Brazil get gold. We saw Elena Nichols get gold. Tomorrow is finals day. Gold medals all day long, so stay tuned because we're going to be joining you nice and early. But first of all, let's sit back. Let's celebrate the highlights of some of the brilliant action we've seen here today, the 2023 ISA World Parasurfing Championships.
Parasurfing has the power to bring us together. Together, we push the limits, further the sport, and go for gold. You've crossed countries to get to the World Championships. Let Access Tracks simplify crossing the sand. Access Tracks, the official beach access pathway of the ISA World Parasurfing Championships.
Hello and welcome to Huntington Beach, California. I'm Kelly Miller, President and CEO of Visit Huntington Beach. Known as Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach boasts 10 miles of coastline and the most consistent waves on the West Coast. Huntington Beach has it all, with endless summer weather, year-round events, outdoor activities, and oceanfront resorts and spas. So get ready to be inspired, be connected, and be here. Huntington Beach. Plan your visit at surfcityusa.com. Hello and welcome to Huntington Beach, California. I'm Kelly Miller, President and CEO of Visit Huntington Beach. Known as Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach boasts 10 miles of coastline and the most consistent waves on the West Coast. Huntington Beach has it all, with endless summer weather, year-round events, outdoor activities, and oceanfront resorts and spas. So get ready to be inspired, be connected, and be here. Huntington Beach. Plan your visit at surfcityusa.com.
And we're back. We've just seen Australia's Joel Taylor take away a gold medal for the first time competing here on behalf of the Irukandjis. And now we've got another Australian going for a second gold medal in Emma Dieters up against Paloma Onate of Spain, Kyla Waput of Hawaii, and Tracy McKay of South Africa.
Yeah, last 2 or 3 heats, great amount of consistency out there.
That's right. We're currently in our Prone 1 division final for the women's side, which includes surfers who are riding in a prone position that do not require assistance paddling into the waves or getting back onto their boards. They're possibly dealing with multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, or have a thoracic spinal cord injury. They've got that mobility, that strength of their core and their upper body.
Looking for a separate gold medal.
Tracy McKay now with a paddle. The South African with a great takeoff, setting herself up down the line. She's made it to the finals a couple of times in this division as she goes down on that brightly colored board. She's got a silver medal at the podium here in order to get that easier paddle out and avoid needing to get hit by the whitewater. Tracy McKay now up and riding, uses her priority on this one. Great green face to start off with, has a lot of speed as she redirects. Former medalist going for an opportunity to win her first gold. Should she find that 7.27 she's chasing to take away the lead from Emma Dieters?
Well, selects a great wave and especially uses priority in a big moment of the heat for her to at least looking to improve on the 3 and minimize the requirement that she's at the moment needing with the 7.27. But one thing is for sure, Kayla Woput's charges. I mean, she's been on the 2 biggest waves out of this final so far. Has her
that gold medal finish. Tracy McKay dropped in a 5.67 for her last wave. She's currently sitting in bronze in third, as Kayla has dropped through that 5.33 and that 4.5. She's up in that silver medal position. And we do have scores to come through for last of red and for last of blue. But I think it's safe to say that Emma Dieters has just gone back-to-back with World Championships.
Yeah, and in a different classification now, going in to Prone 1 in comparison to Prone 2 last year. And it's also
Vision getting gold medalists for Joel Taylor and for Em Dieters.
And when they needed to, when it most matters in the final, getting 2 gold medals back-to-back, really going to help their equation when it comes to getting an overall team medal, especially the gold one. As you see the young surfer right there from Sydney, you were mentioning how good she's been throughout the entirety of her career. Once again, world champion.
Very impressive performance from Em Dieters. We've got more to come with Sam Bleakley and Ben Way coming in the booth. Final say here for the World Parasurfing Championships. Well, welcome back to the action here on Finals Day for the 2023 ISA World Parasurfing Championships. We've just saw Victoria Feige go for a 5th gold medal, Mitch. That was an insane way to finish in a heat where the lead changed about every 3 minutes.
Yeah, and a really exciting final when you talk about a lot of these conditions being some of the best we've seen all week long. And I truly think that HB has delivered the goods, especially at a World Championship event, Shannon.
I completely agree. Thanks so much for joining us. Shannon and Mitch here to call the action on the next division. We're pretty close to the finish of our day now, as we're heading into our men's stand 2 division for our gold medal match. And it's going to be an exciting one with the returning gold medalists in Rafael Louders of Brazil, Kenjiro Ito of Japan, JP Veaudry of South Africa, and Ishmael Nilsson of Norway.
Yeah, and Ishmael, who resides in France, been one of the better representatives we've seen out of Norway, getting another gold medal as we see JP up and riding.
All right, first opportunity. Great combination of major maneuvers to start off with. A small size wave, but he's pumping down the line, gaining speed and kick things off for JP. Ishmael with a 3.83 for his opening ride. He's now sitting in second. As we've got a takeoff, JP not looking behind him to see that Kenjiro is up and riding. A 2-turn combination, and he's going to see right there.
The gold medalist in this event, and this is the interference as we're looking at it. Ito with good positioning, and JP just in front of him, never looked back. And it's unfortunate too, he had a great combination.
Much fun in the water. I do know that yesterday he decided to paddle out on his longboard because the surf was a bit smaller than it had been the few days before. He'd been out practicing bright and early on his twin fin fish, but decided with that longboard it was going to give him a little bit of an easier entry into catching the waves in these smaller conditions. He's a big guy, having that extra foam underneath him, he felt like he'd be able to consistently get into multiple waves and get up and riding a little bit earlier, which in yesterday's conditions proved to be a great decision because it's advanced him through into the finals.
Yeah, and he's going to keep his speed down the line too.
That could have easily been an excellent score and had him sitting in a significant lead.
100%. I mean, he'd for sure be in first place as he's up and riding.
Nice little trim line to start off with. You can see how poised he is on that board. Small wave though, pretty gutless out there. Not a lot of energy in the ocean this morning. We've been hearing that from the competitors. We heard that from Marta Pacho, who took away that gold medal win in our visually impaired 1 division.
Like a big deal, but then once you hear the interference call, you're like, dang. Now things really did change, and you know, I have to deal with the consequences of my actions as we look at the priority board right there. Pretty clear to see, especially all 4 colors, but at that point of the heat, I think he felt that.
On a knee-high section, as we see JP now, great execution of that single maneuver.
Well, that was really strong stuff right there at the end by Veaudry. That happy every day looks incredible with the spine tech material underneath his feet. And that board being made as one of the replicas that he's liked to use in the past. A little bit longer though. Says he hasn't been able to fit it in most pockets due to the length of it. Seemed to work quite well on that wave right there though. So needs something close to a 9 to move up into second place. And if he had some combinations before this last turn, wouldn't be surprised to see him get it.
Scores to come through now for last of red, last of 3 feet. He's got a big ask in front of him for that gold medal as we take a look now at JP Veaudry. Quick snap, and really one of the most accomplished surfers in the stand 2 division, showing his consistency after finding a silver medal last year to be into the finals once again. Would have taken out gold for a 2nd year in the row.
Now let's all welcome the finalists of the Parasurf Men's Sit Division. The winner of the copper medal, Guillaume, presenting France.
winner of the bronze medal, Douglas Hendrikz, representing South Africa. The winner of the silver medal, Ethan Kara, representing the USA. And our winner of the gold medal, Felipe Kisalima, representing Brazil. And now the national anthem of Brazil. The winner of the copper medal, Paloma Unate, representing Spain. The winner of the bronze medal, Tracy McKay, representing South Africa. The winner of the silver medal, Kayla Welputz, representing Hawaii. And the winner of the gold medal, Emma Dieters, representing Australia. And now the national anthem of Australia. Thank you very much. Now let's welcome the finalists of the Parasurf Stand 2 men's division. The winner of the copper medal, Kenjiro Ito, representing Japan. The winner of the bronze medal, Jean-Paul Veaudry, representing South Africa. The winner of the silver medal, Ismael Giorin Nilsen, representing Norway. And the winner of the gold medal, Rafael Luters, representing Brazil. And now the national anthem of Brazil.